You know, people often think that learning English has to be this giant, overwhelming task. Oh, it's the hardest thing in the world to learn. I've heard that many times. It's so hard to learn English, it's the hardest language. But let me give you some advice. Small habits done every day will carry you further than any big one-time effort. I mean, think about it. Think about brushing your teeth. You don't do it once a week for an hour, right? I mean, that'd be kind of crazy. You do it a couple of times a day for 2 minutes. Actually, in Korea, we do it like 3 times a day. That's what makes the difference. If you waited once a week, your teeth would rot right out of your head. To get the results that you need small effort a little bit every day. And it's the same with English. You can give it if you give it just a little time every day, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, you'll be amazed at the progress you make when you stay consistent. So, today I'll share 5 simple daily habits that you can start right away, even with the busiest schedule. And stick around, because at the end of this episode, you'll see how those little drops of effort can fill up a whole bucket of confidence. And I'll wrap things up in the Mastery Minute with a phrase that proves the power of steady daily action. Let's dive right into it. And I'll introduce you to Jin. Let me tell you a quick story about Jin. He's one of my coaching clients here in Korea. And he's a very busy guy, very busy professional. Oops, let me get back here. Busy professional. He works long days. He's got 2 kids who are young. I mean, I can relate. I've got 4. And he's always racing the clock. He said, at the first time I met him, he said, "Dennis, I just don't have time for English." And that's what many of my Mastering English for Busy Professionals students say at the very beginning. But instead of searching for huge study blocks that never came, I worked with him to weave English into the cracks of his day. So we started with habits that I teach in the course. Short 10-minute practice sessions. A daily 1-sentence story or practice rehashing your day, and reviewing a handful of highly impactful vocabulary words right before bed. He even started doing mirror talk, which is something I learned from my wife, practicing out loud while talking to himself in a mirror or making coffee in the morning. And within 3 months, he wasn't just memorizing words. He was telling stories with confidence at work and with his colleagues and starting to connect better. That's the real power of habits. When you build them into your daily rhythm, small steps turn into some real transformation. So, how can we make this look real for you? English learning, or learning English, can really start to feel overwhelming, right? I mean, give me a thumbs up or put a comment if you agree. Most people think they need to lock themselves away with grammar books or spend hours drilling exercises, but that approach really burns people out fast. Those giant chunks make it hard to stay consistent. It really does. What happens is you lose momentum and then you start to feel guilty about it. You're like, I didn't study today. And then when you feel guilty, you don't want to do it anymore. But the good news is, and listen, I've seen this happen with so many professionals over and over again. The good news is you don't need hours a day. You don't need to sit in a classroom all the time or have someone watching over your shoulder. What you need are small, repeatable habits that fit into your real life. And that's what actually works. So let's walk through 5 practical habits that you can start right away, and we'll go through it together. The first one, habit number 1, practice for 10 minutes a day. Think about fitness. A lot of people join a gym with the idea that they'll work out once a week. They're going to work out hard, and somehow they'll lose weight or they'll get in shape. But what actually happens? They push through 1-2 hour session, they leave feeling sore and exhausted, and they don't want to go back. And then they struggle to keep going. And the results never come. And then they feel more and more frustrated. Oh, I've wasted all this money, or I've wasted all this time, and I'm not seeing the weight loss, or I'm not seeing the muscle gains. The real solution is much smaller. It's, you take it in smaller bites, a bit by bit, like 15 to 30 minutes every single day. And that's what keeps your body engaged and your energy steady. And over time, you'll see the pounds start to drop off and the strength start to increase. It's exactly the same with English. If you cram once in a while, you end up getting stuck. You forget most of what you reviewed, and then you feel guilty for not doing more. But when you give English 10 minutes focus each day, reading aloud, listening to a short podcast, and then mirroring and repeating that out loud, or reviewing a few notes, then you can stay engaged. Your confidence begins to grow, your fluency builds naturally, and the reason it works is simple. Consistency compounds, and little daily efforts create results that hours of irregular study never will. Trust me, I know. I've been doing this for years. So, one of the biggest frustrations that I hear from busy professionals like you is this. I keep learning new words, but I can't remember them when I need them. They're like, whoop, they're in my head, but I can't think of them when they're most important. The problem isn't that they're not trying to learn, it's that most people just look at a word once on a list. That's a problem. They never really learn how to use it. And without context, it just slips away the moment you need it. So here's the solution. And I'll rush through this because we're running out of time. Choose 3 to 5 words, new words a day. And you can pick them out of your reading. And instead of just memorizing them, put them into sentences that connect with your real life. Write the sentences in a notebook or type them in your phone. Then later that day or the next morning, say the sentences out loud or try to work those words into new sentences during the day. And then the words will start sticking in your head. You're not memorizing, you're practicing using them. And this works because context is king. When your brain links a word to a sentence, an image, or a personal experience, it moves that word from short-term memory into long-term memory and builds your confidence. So that small daily repetition in context helps you build vocabulary faster, and then you can actually use it when it matters. So, habit number 3, and I hit this all the time. Practice speaking out loud, even or maybe even especially when you're alone. I hear this all the time. I understand English when I hear it, when I read it, but I freeze when I have to speak. And that's the pain point. If you only practice silently, your voice and your brain never connect. When the moment comes to talk, you hesitate. So what's the solution? The solution is speak out loud every day, especially even if you're by yourself. So you can do that by narrating what you're doing. I'm making coffee. I'm opening the window. Try mirror talk. Look in the mirror and say 1 or 2 sentences about your day. At first, this may seem and feel silly, but it's really powerful. You're training your tongue and your mouth and your brain to work together, because fluency is a muscle. Just like you can't get stronger by reading about push-ups, you actually have to do the push-ups. You also can't get fluent by only reading silently. Your mouth needs practice forming words. Your ears need practice hearing your own English. And your confidence will grow with every repetition. So that's why I always say reading out loud is especially helpful, because it gives you your mouth practice with proper grammar and sentence structure without having to study. And it keeps you from saying the same things over and over. And look, if you need something fresh to read, my website has 3 new news articles every single day and 1 new blog post. They're perfect. They're short. You can use them for daily out loud practice. So that will help you build the reflex you need to speak naturally when the opportunity comes. So the next thing is make English a part of your daily life. Let's go through this. I often hear, I just don't have time to study. Well, the truth is, you don't need extra time. You don't always need it. You need to turn the time you already spend into English time. But most people separate English from their everyday life, so it feels like another heavy task on the to-do list. So let's solve this by bringing English into what you already do. So switch your phone and your apps to English. Change your desktop to English. Scroll your social media. If you do social media, put that in English. When you watch new YouTube or Netflix videos, turn on the English subtitles. Just even reading a few headlines or lyrics in English, that counts. Because these little small touches, they build immersion without adding pressure to your day. So instead of English being something you only do in a classroom, it becomes part of your everyday life. Over time, your brain starts to recognize words automatically. You don't have to think about it. And that's when you start to feel more natural and less foreign. Okay. Habit number 5. This is our last one. Use reflection. It may be the most powerful habit that you can build. Many people think they finish the day and they think, oh, darn it, I didn't study today. I failed. Well, that's the mindset that creates that guilty feeling and discouragement. The real issue, as we've already discussed, isn't time. It's the way you measure your progress. So the solution is reflection. So at the end of the day, ask yourself, in English, what did I do today? And then answer. Or what's one thing I learned? Then answer out loud, even if it's just 2 sentences. That act of reviewing in English takes what you lived that day and then locks it into your memory so you can talk about it. And not only that, we talked about this last week, shift your mindset. Stop chasing perfection. You don't need to be perfect. Perfect grammar doesn't help you connect with people. Chase that connection instead of trying to be perfect. So by reflecting every day, it shows that you're learning little by little, and that progress adds up. Because confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from practicing consistency and then realizing, hey, I can actually do this. And by reflecting, you remind yourself, hey, I actually learned something today. You don't have to feel that guilt. You don't have to be perfect. So, all right, what do you avoid? Don't wait for the perfect time to study, because it doesn't ever come. Also, don't overload yourself with too many apps or books at one time. Keep it simple. You don't want to overload. It overwhelms you. Keep it super simple. That's the KISS rule. Keep it repeatable and realistic. Something you can do. It's 5 daily habits done consistently will always beat one massive cram session. It's just a fact. All right. So, we've gone right at 15 minutes, but we've got a little more to go. So, here's my question for you. What is one small habit that you can add to your day starting tomorrow? Drop it in the chat, drop it in the comments, and let me know. And if you've already got a good habit and you'd like to share it, yeah, tell me. I'd love to hear your strategies. Show me what you got. All right. And your challenge is this. If you haven't chosen a habit or haven't started any habits, choose one. Start today. Talk about your day and then try to stick with it for a week. After that, add a second habit to build up your momentum. And then add a third until you've got all 5 of these habits as part of your routine. When you notice the difference in your confidence and your fluency as those habits build, make sure you come back, drop it in the comments. Tell me how much you've improved. And if this episode has been a big help for you, hit the like button for me, subscribe, share it with a friend. You can read the full article at allaboutenglishmastery.com, and the link is in the description, so you won't want to miss that. Okay. Oh, don't forget, if you've ever thought, hey, I don't have time to study, that's exactly why I built my 10-minute mastery system. It's just for you. So check out the Mastering English for Busy Professionals course. The link is in the description. And don't forget, if you need something to read out loud every day, my website's got those 3 news articles and a blog posted every single day. It's a perfect place to get some simple practice material, and it's free. Designed to help you sound more natural. Now, let's wrap things up with what? Oh yeah, the Mastery Minute. You know, there's an old saying. Maybe you've heard it. Rome wasn't built in a day. And let me share why this matters for you. Listen, Rome didn't just poof magically appear, right? It was built brick by brick, road by road, day after day, and year after year. That's what built a city that lasted for centuries. And it's the same thing with your English. Maybe today you learned one word. Maybe tomorrow you practice a short sentence. The next day you read something out loud. Each small effort adds up. It feels tiny by itself, but when you put it all together, they add up to something solid. And that's how confidence and fluency grows, little by little, just like Rome. Now, if you want to use this in a sentence, you can try it like this. Improving your English takes consistency. Remember, Rome wasn't built in a day. You can use this for somebody who's working out, encouragement. It's okay, keep going. Rome wasn't built in a day. Whenever you feel impatient or frustrated, just remind yourself, real progress comes from steady effort. Every small step matters. And when you keep stacking those steps, you'll look back and you'll realize just how far you've come. Because you've come a long way just to get here. All right. Thanks for sticking around while we went overtime. Tonight we went over and learned 5 simple habits that make English part of your daily life. Next time, we'll explore how to turn misunderstandings into learning moments. Because when something doesn't land the way you expected it to, That's your chance to get clearer and grow together. You don't want to miss it. And if this episode helped you, one more time, hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. I'm Dennis Wilborn, and this has been 15-Minute Mastery. I'll see you next time. Oh, wait. I see we have a comment. I love comments. And this is from Yihua Chi. I've developed 3 habits. Read aloud 1 article a day, use real English at work, and practice the AAA rule every week. Well, thank you, Mandy. I love those habits. These are great habits. And reading out loud, I remember when you first started. It wasn't so easy for you, but now you're doing great. Using real English at work is huge. It's huge. I know you work in a non-English company, but you work with Americans and other people, so keep it up. And practicing that AAA rule. Let me just go over. I didn't talk about it in this episode, but the AAA rule is king. If you want to keep conversations going, what is the AAA rule? A, number 1, when someone asks you a question, answer the question. That's simple. A, answer. A, number 2, add. You want to add more to your answer. Don't just say yes, no, or fine. Say a little bit more. Like if someone asks you, what did you have for dinner? You can say, I had a nice juicy steak. That's your answer. And then add more. It was wonderful. It was thick and juicy. It had all the trimmings. I had potatoes and vegetables on the side. Then, A, number 3, ask a similar or relevant question. Simple as that. A, number 3 is the most important tool for keeping the conversation going. So I've answered my question. I've added more information. Then I say, what about you? Did you have dinner yet? Or what did you have for dinner? Something like that. It's really useful for keeping those conversations going when you're in keeps you from feeling awkward in a conversation, basically. All right. Well, thanks for asking, Mandy. All right. We've gone way over on this session. Thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks for your question, Mandy. And I look forward to seeing you again. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.